Hey guys, happy Saturday, happy almost new moon. So as promised, I'm going to answer 5 questions that you guys asked via my Instagram cap_Requarius. So let's just jump right into it. These are going to be 5 different questions and a bonus question at the end that you guys have for me. So this question is from Astrology. What made you get into astrology and why do you love it? I love it, in parentheses. So when I was about 14, I had my friend's dad do my birth chart because I had never known if I was a Capricorn or Aquarius because I'm right on the cusp, January 20th, and different magazines would say different things and I never really knew. I always kind of knew I was an Aquarius, but I really related to Capricorn too, so I never really knew. So I had my friend's dad do my chart and he was/is this really awesome Virgo man who's like very spiritual, very wise, very cool, and he was a big influence on me. So he did my chart for me and I read that I was an Aquarius, which I had already sort of known, and also that I had a Scorpio moon and rising, and it just blew my mind. Everything I had felt my whole life made sense. Like, I'm not crazy. I'm just this very intense person, because even reading Capricorn, even reading Aquarius, some of it really fit my personality, but there was something that was sort of missing. And that was what just got me hooked on astrology. I've always been very good at like remembering people's birthdays, categorizing, sort of filing things in that way, and I just like jumped on it. I got Linda Goodman's Sun Signs, the book, read everything, highlighted everything. I'm very thorough when I learn something, and it just went from there. So that was literally over 15 years ago. Okay, second question. This is from Solar Power 40. What is your opinion on cusps? Some people don't believe in the cusps. I clearly am a cusp believer. You know, my username is Capriquarius. I very much believe in cusps. All I'm going to say about that right now, and I think it's a very hot topic, a lot of people, you know, argue about it. All I want to say about that is that when the energy shifts from one sign to a next, let's just talk about sun signs. It doesn't just flip over like a card. It doesn't just flip. It moves gradually. And there's still some like remaining feelings of the sign before, and if you're at the very tail end of the sign, there's some approaching feelings from the coming sign. The way I look at it is like, take relationships, for example. If you're in a relationship with someone and someone else comes into your life, that relationship with the new person is going to have an effect on your current relationship. And there's no way around it. You're not just going to deny that person, even though you're with someone. It's going to have an effect. If you jump into a new relationship, that last person that you were with is still going to have a little bit of effect on your new relationship. That's just how things are. They're gradual. Like, energy gradually moves. It doesn't just flip. That's kind of my opinion on cusps. I could get into it more, but that's sort of what I have to say on that. I think it's a good analogy to think about when you're thinking about cusps. And also I just want to say cusp, I think the reason some people don't believe in cusps is because people can take it so far, like, oh, I'm born on April 25th, so I'm a cusp of Aries. No, you're a Taurus. I think cusps is more like 0 degrees, 29 degrees, 28, 1 degree. Like, I think it's a little bit tighter. People sometimes expand it a little too much. Yeah, so as a 0.02 degrees Aquarius, I definitely believe in cusps because I'm not like other Aquarius. I'm way more Capricorn-like. Okay, next question. This is from Emma Sattler. Are chart compatibilities always accurate? So I had a lot of questions about compatibility, and here's my thoughts on compatibility. Yes, there are things that are going to make your relationship, each relationship, difficult or great, depending on, you know, different aspects. Usually trine aspects are really good. It more just indicates harmony, like you not have to try, it's just like natural, like you just get along. Conjunctions indicate a really intense energy, And squares indicate attraction and a powerful dynamic energy, but sometimes also like harsh and like going against the tide, kind of like butting heads. The thing about compatibility is that I always try to tell people is you can be 100% compatible with someone and not want to be with them because you crave a little bit more of that passion, that intensity, maybe drama. Or you could be someone who really wants just an easy, chill relationship. I personally have found that some people that have the most compatible charts are great and they have an excellent relationship. Other people who have charts that are like, what is this? There's nothing, you're not even touching, have a great relationship. So I think it really just depends what you personally need. And you know, one person is gonna need something different. So I think it's more important to look at your own chart to see what you look for and you need as a person to feel good and to feel fulfilled. And that's what you can look for in compatibility, rather than I just want someone that is exactly like me or that just fits me perfectly like a glove. Not everyone's like that. So I think compatibility is definitely up for debate in that way. Okay, next question. This is from Margarita Tonorelli, kindest sign. I picked that one because I thought it was kind of fun, kind of interesting. As far as kind, being genuinely kind, someone who genuinely cares about others. You know, we're all a little selfish. Every sign is a little selfish. People naturally are a little selfish. But I think as far as the kindest sign, I would say Pisces. That sounds kind of almost cliche, but I really do believe it. And yeah, Pisces, they can be selfish in their own ways and they have their issues. They certainly have their issues. But as far as being kind, they are not being kind. It's not like a Libra kindness of like, I want to be kind because I want people to like me, or I don't want to ruffle any feathers. No offense, Libras. You guys are kind in your own way. I just think Pisces have more of this genuine kindness. Like they genuinely want to give to people. Virgo would be close to that as well, but the thing about Virgo is that they can be really cruel too. Anyone who's ever been, you know, hurt by a Virgo or who had a Virgo who lashed out on them can understand how cruel they can be. Pisces can lash out too, but I think deep down they are kind people. And it depends on the influence of your chart, but I'm gonna say Pisces for that. Okay, now fifth question, this is from Maggie P. Walsh. Does being born premature affect your birth sign? And I think by that she means your chart. No, I think the moment that you are born, that's the energy you absorb. Whether it was when you're supposed to be born or not, that is what you're brought into the world. You know, for example, my due date was January 30th, but I was born on January 20th. Therefore being much more Capricorn-like than I would be if I would be born on January 30th. I think it's what you're born into, not what you were supposed to be born into. Because when you're, you know, in the womb, you're not exposed to the energy of the outside world. The second you take your first breath, that is your birth chart. Okay, and now the bonus question, which I just thought this one was kind of fun, kind of funny. This is from Le Lunatic Artist. Why Capricorns are so misunderstood? Why? Cry face. That's funny because Capricorns are very misunderstood. I have known a lot of Capricorns. I've always been friends with Capricorns. I more or less am one. And I've known a lot of Capricorns, and they can be very misunderstood because I think people think they're uptight, or they think that they're like too ambitious, or they think that they're like these alpha dog, like cold, you know, determined people. But a lot of times they can be very destructive. They can be very neurotic. They can be very wild sometimes, and hilarious also. But they're just very selective. I think they have a sort of front, not that they're not real or that they're fake or that they're absolutely not fake. They're selective about who they let into their world. And I think the people that are allowed to be into the world of a Capricorn are the ones that really see them and can understand them. But for the rest of the world, yes, they're misunderstood because I think they're private people, they're solitary people, they're goats. They're gonna get to the top of the mountain, but A, they're gonna struggle a lot along the way. They're ruled by Saturn. And B, a lot of times you're alone at the top of the mountain. Goats are lonely creatures, and therefore they're not these people, you know, and at the same time, there can be extroverted Capricorns that are very sociable, they thrive off of that environment, but there is still an element of being solitary and being a little bit more reserved and lonely, and I think that's just the way of the goat, but they are very misunderstood for that reason. So be more gentle with your Capricorns, even though they seem like they're so independent, they got it all together, they don't need you, they really don't, but they still feel those feelings, they still get hurt by things, they will shut themselves in their room and cry and not tell anybody. You know, be gentle with your Capricorns. Just because they can do it all themselves doesn't mean they don't need support and love and help. Okay, so that's it for today. I might do another round of these another time. Thank you so much for giving me your questions. And if you guys need anything from me, if you want to do a video reading or anything, head to my website, check out all my services and prices, and I'll see you guys later.